All right, it's the new year, everyone. Welcome to the January 3rd, 2022 edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, taking you through the new year in the world of mixed martial arts with my co-host, as always, Mr. Big Marcel Dorff. Marcel, happy new year, man. How's it going?
Happy New Year, man, to you and to everybody's watching. Yeah, everything is good, man. I mean, it's a new year. What can we say, right? Everything is good. I have nothing else to say, to be honest, man. What do you have to say?
Not a ton, man. How was your weekend, by the way? I didn't even ask you. Like, what have you got up to on the break? Anything special or?
No, not really, man. I'm still waiting to announce uh, some update on my work this upcoming week. So I hope I can do that.
Oh,
In the
really?
upcoming
Oh,
week.
there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm waiting for that, and that's pretty much it at this moment. And yeah,
Good, man.
nothing else.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I've been kind of like, kind of enjoying the break. I mean, I miss the fights, man. Honestly, I miss them, guys. Saturday night, that's my night, or Saturday afternoon sometimes.
Mhm.
That's my night for fights. So we haven't seen it in a while. I didn't get a chance to watch Ryzen. You know, the time is difficult for me, honestly.
Mhm.
When I was a young single guy, that was not a problem. But you know, it's tougher with having a kid to stay up all night to watch an MMA event. Um, Thankfully, I did get to see two of my good friends. I saw Cole Sheldon and James Lynch. I haven't seen these guys in a while. I haven't seen James in a few years. He used to live in Toronto. We hang out all the time. He lives in BC now, obviously. Cole, I haven't met before in person, which is crazy, guys. You know, think about how long me and Cole have been friends. Where we did a podcast, you know, for a couple going back to, I want to say it was like 2019. We started doing the podcast, me and him. So it's been a few years and we've been friends. So it was awesome, Marcel. I wish we could see you, Marcel, here. It'd be awesome, but it was good to see those guys. I know that we would have had a lot of fun if you were there. We got Tristan in the chat. Happy New Year to you, buddy. Hype MMA's here as well. Yeah, Tristan. No. James came down here to visit some family for like the last 2 weeks, so we got to hang out. It was good. Me and James are really good friends, and it's just tough because he lives, in Vancouver now, and I live or just outside Vancouver. I live here outside Toronto, right? So it's he's on literally one end of the country, and I'm on the other. But it was good to see those guys. Cole was awesome, as you know. So in the future, man. I mean, pre-COVID, we used to do like meetups in Toronto. I'm not sure too many people are in the chat like live in Toronto, but we used to like do meetups and stuff. And I'd love to do that again going forward. Like my goal is to have like some sort of like TED talk, but for like MMA instead. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like I'd like to have like, I'm not sure when this would be. This is probably down the road, but to rent out like some sort of just not I can't do it during COVID, obviously. I'm saying, but to rent out some sort of like bar or something and have a bunch of MMA people and then talk about the sport. That'd be cool. You know what I mean? That's what we kind of wanted to do. Maybe in the future, but obviously with COVID, it's tough. We got 8 local here advanced and 1 month new UFC cards. If you enjoy the cards even more, no doubt. I agree with that too. Like I'm just looking forward to watching the fights right now. You know what I mean? So, anyways, Marcel. Obviously, guys, like once again, it's a dead week as far as events go, and next week we'll start doing the breakdowns and stuff again. But still a lot of fight announcements, a lot of news to get through, Marcel. So we'll do that today. And the other thing I was going to mention was tomorrow. Again, it's a show for questions and answers. What I was thinking about doing, Marcel, is, and I was telling you this, to do like a fancy matchmaking show where you guys bring the fights you want to see this year. We'll talk about the matchups potentially, Marcel. So I'll give you that, Marcel, to think about overnight. You can think about some potential fights. We'll talk about tomorrow. Got Marcus in the chat. I told Marcus about this already. Marcus, what's going on, man? He was asking who we like in Johnny Walker vs. Hill. That has a date now, I believe, February. What is it? What's the date, Marcel? February 19th?
19th, I think.
Yeah.
19th.
Yeah, so it's a good fight. Honestly, man, I've been so disappointed Johnny Walker leading Marcus. I do think he can win this fight. I mean, he was really close to beating Thiago Santos. Think about it. Like, if he just threw a few more punches, he would have won the fight, which is crazy. But, man, Jamal Hill looked really good in that last fight. I don't know. I mean, right now, I think Hill would be favored, honestly, because I think most people are down on Johnny Walker. But what do you think, Marcel?
It's difficult, man, which Johnny Walker will show up. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what's it. But
I agree.
I don't know yet, to be really honest, man. I mean, gotta think about it some more, and it's still a long time before we have this. I know it's next month, but still a long time.
Glenn says, happy New Year. Yeah, you too, man. Hoping Marcel is the personal announcement he teased up with last week. He just mentioned it. Think it's not today either.
No, it's pretty much done. But I
Oh.
mean, but I just can't announce it yet because of other stuff. But I
No
will.
worries, man. Maybe I'll get the scoop, guys, but after the show, so you can message me and see if I'll cough it up. Probably not. Anyways, let's go to do some fight announcements more. So I think that would be good today. So we'll do that. Talk about news and stuff as well, guys. Actually, before we even get to the UFC fight announcements, one thing I wanted to say was Bellator. They've had, I wouldn't say announcements, but Scott Coker did like a long interview with Junkie, and he talked about a bunch of stuff. So let's talk about a few of those fights quickly, Marcel. And we got Daniel in the chat here as well. Hey, Daniel, he thinks Hill wins that fight. We'll talk about that one after. Should be a good fight. So we got a few fights from Bellator and Raw Torques here as well. What's going on, man? Again, not official, but they're going to happen this year. Michael Page versus Yaroslav Amosov is going to happen this year, according to Scott Coker. You know, Page could win because he's a great striker to keep the standing and win, but I can't see the fight going any other way other than him getting taken down at will, Marcel. Like, it seems like a horrible matchup for him. What do you think? Any thoughts?
I agree, man. But by the way, those announcements kind of fucking bored them, man, to be honest. I mean, MVP defeated Lima. We all knew he was going to get the title shot now. And also that Katzengano
is going to fight Cyborg. Yeah,
that was also happening, you know? So it's pretty much a fight. This is a typical fight announcement from a website this is not MMA Junkie, but for example, when somebody wants to announce something but they don't know, they are like Katzengano versus Chris Cyborg 2022. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty much we could fill that one. We could fill those ones in, you know. So it's not really big in my opinion, but it's big, but we could fill those one in.
It's worth mentioning, anyways. Yeah, and then here's the other thing you said, Harrison. Oh, go ahead. I'll take you first.
I mean, the only really breaking thing about that is that the fight between Page and Amosov is going to take place in London, which I have a problem with, to be honest, man. Because why does Page again get a home advantage in this fight?
They love the guy. They want him to be champion, man. I mean, I don't think it's a secret, you know. I think they'd rather have him as the champ than Amosov, who's a great fighter, but not really the most exciting guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's get these comments from Tristan. Scott Coker says Harrison has to sign with UFC or Bellator. Actually, she can't prove herself. Hopefully, Harrison doesn't go back to PFL. I mean, I guess you could say if she goes to Bellator, she could fight Cyborg, and then if she beats Cyborg, I mean, that proves yourself right there. But for me, it's you know, if she really wants to prove herself, she's going to the UFC. There's really no other question about it. Like, she's going to the best organization in the world, but I don't think she wants to go there, guys, because again, not that she doesn't want to go there, but you know, PFL, they're going to pay her $1 million to beat up on fighters that we don't even know who they are before the tournament starts, Marcel. I mean, that seems like
it's a plus 4,000.
Yeah, again, every card we
minus
did
4,000.
It was minus 4,000, and she's breaking she breaks the record for biggest odds every time she fights. But you know, if I'm her, like if I'm you or me, like, guys, wouldn't you want to do the easier job to get paid more money? Like, who wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, there's something to be said about like the like being noble and fighting the best competition, all that. She's got to be selfish, think about herself, man. You know. So if I'm her, Marcel, I'm going back to PFL and trying to win another $1 million, but being up Taylor Guardado, Larissa Pacheco for the 10th time, and I don't even know who else. Like some random person they find like. From like this had like one pro fight they throw in the tournament. Like, to me, it's just, guys, like any job you do. I don't know what you guys do for a living, but whatever you do, wouldn't you rather, you know, do an easier job and get paid more money? Who wouldn't want that? I don't know, Marcel. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is with fighting is always like, what's the honorable thing to do? But definitely, man, I agree with you. I mean, if you're gonna, you know, but you in real life, man, but also in real life, if you have, for example, you can go work in two places, and one place pays you almost a guaranteed $2 million. I just saying 2 million. Not of course it's $2 million, and the other place pays you like 500K. And you know the 500K is much tougher than the $2 million. You're going to $2 million. Everybody does, so you can't really blame her with that, you know.
And especially if you're a fighter, because like Marcel, the career is not that long, you know. And not only that, but an injury can destroy your career. You know, she could blow her knee out and her career's over. You know what I mean? So if I'm her, I'm trying to get as much guaranteed money as I can. So I'm trying to get the biggest signing bonus I can. And I'm trying to get the most, you know, potential money I can. I believe that's in PFL right now. I could be wrong, but I believe it is in PFL, you know. If I'm the UFC, I'm going to try to make a great offer to her, but I just don't think she comes, man. That's just my honest opinion, guys. I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope she does come to the UFC. I just think she'll go back to PFL. I think it makes way more sense because I asked myself, what would you do? And as much as I'd like, it's just like, Marcel, yeah, it's always nice to be in a place with a bigger name, like just say you could work at McDonald's or the Keg, right? Like, I don't know if they have the Keg at where you live, but it's a really nice restaurant, okay? It's a really high-end steak place versus McDonald's, right? So you can either work at, the Keg, which is a great place, but just say they started you at, whatever. But you can go to McDonald's and they're going to start you at, 10 times more, Marcel, and the job is half as much time. What are you going to pick? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying it's a terrible example, honestly, but you guys know what I'm saying. All right, let's get these comments. MVP fights in London sell well. Yeah, I agree with that. Coker is ominous on Key's contract. Yeah, I feel like it's almost over, but I'd love to see him in the UFC. But again, I think Bellator will try to keep him as long as they can. But I'd love to see him in the UFC, man. I agree. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Hype. He says, how does Cheeto Vera Marab sound? I think it'd be a good fight. Makes sense based on ranking. Any thought on that quickly, Marcel?
Yeah, they can do that. Why not? But I mean, yeah, why not? Why not? They can do it.
Go. All right, let's go to Marcel's page, guys, and we'll look at some upcoming fight announcements here. All right. So this one came out today. Sodiq Yusuff versus Alex Caceres. So I can't remember who was asking. Someone keeps asking about where Sodiq Yusuff is. Well, here he is. He's fighting Alex Caceres. The fight makes a lot of sense. I mean, Caceres, he's proven himself to be, a really underrated guy that I always pick against, and he keeps beating me. And then Yusuff, a guy who I think is really good anyways, and then he obviously lost his last fight. But if fight makes sense. I mean, they're both ranked in the same spot in the division. I think you'll see Yusuff's a better fighter, but I don't know, man. At this point, how can you bet against Bruce Lee, right? The guy keeps winning. So I don't know. What do you think, Marcel?
I mean, the only time I pick against good on Alex Caceres was probably against Chase Hooper. All the other ones I picked wrong. Mm-hmm. And those were wins, obviously.
I literally got them all wrong, guys, just so you know. I'm terrible at picking his fights. I'm really like there's some guys you're just not good at picking their fights. You try not to avoid them completely. And he's a guy that I need to avoid, man, because I find him just a tough guy to pick. Like let me look at the win streak, Marcel. The last 5 fights he's lost. Okay, I picked him against Austin Springer, obviously, but I mean the other fights I picked against him in all those fights. So I don't have a great read on this guy, obviously. Anyways, give me your thoughts, Marcel.
By the way, there's nothing more worse than a guy with really short hair against a guy with a really fro haircut and then put 2 pictures next to each other and kind of scale it. So
because they're like different heights.
Yeah, exactly. I know the UFC doesn't give a shit, but I do. But yeah, I mean, I would go with Sodiq, man. Still, I still think he has more upside than Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres is still, I think he's 33 right now. So
yeah,
he's not old, but I mean, yeah, it's so difficult because he has looked good in his last fights or in his comebacks or whatever he had. But I mean, Sodiq, I'm still high on Sodiq. He didn't look bad in his loss against Arnold Allen. So yeah,
I agree. All right. Yeah, here's the fight that they were talking about earlier. So on February 19th, it's a good fight. I do think he'll be favored like a little bit, not too much, but I think he'll be slightly favored. I could be wrong though. I mean, but for me, if you look at the comments, I mean, most people are taking Walker's kind of done now. So I feel like the odds makers know that, Marcel, and they'll make the line reflect that what the public's thinking right now. Tristan says Sodiq's athleticism is insane. I know it is. It is. The guy's a good fighter, man. He lost to Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen's a nice roll. It's okay. Here we go. Mandy Bowman against Sabina Mazo. 2 girls that I think they need to win. I mean, the loser gets cut, I believe. Both girls look really bad in their last fight. I mean, this fight kind of sucks, honestly, Marcel. They're both at the bottom of the roster, guys. Mazo's been nothing but disappointing to me lately, and Baum looked absolutely terrible in her debut. I think Mazo probably wins this, but I have no clue. What do you think, Marcel?
I'd pick Mazo any day probably because Böhm looks so bad in their fight against Lipski.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mazo, yeah.
Getting all wrestled by Lipski is just a really bad look, as you guys know. So I bet again, Mazo I thought she looked terrible in the last fight. Again, against a pretty good opponent, right? So, all right. Yeah, I like this fight. So Superman versus the Hulk, as you noted, Marcel, here. So you got the Marvel versus DC fight. I love this fight. I mean, the nickname thing alone, I love. Marcel. But it's just a good fight. Ion really deserves a guy that's I think Ryan ranked. They're both ranked actually.
Yeah.
But he deserved the guy ahead of him, basically. And Ryan, looked pretty bad against Anthony Smith. I don't know. It's an interesting fight, man. Kind of feel like Cutelaba should be favored, though. I gotta be honest with you. He's looked really good lately. Any thoughts?
If Ian can contain himself again, just like he did in his last fight, he has a good chance to win the fight, But we don't know how he's going to fight this one. It's it's difficult. If you look at Ryan Spann, yeah, he didn't look good against Anthony Smith. I expected much more of him. Yeah, we'll see, man. This is kind of listen. Ryan Spann needs to win this fight to be to be still kind of relevant in the top 15, I think. And Ian Cutelaba, this is also, in my opinion, probably as maybe not his last chance, but one of his last chances to really establish himself in the top 15, So both guys need to win here, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I agree with that. No, I agree. I think it's an important fight for both guys. I just feel like Cutelaba's like his record UFC's not great, but he's looked good lately, I think, Interesting fight. Ryan Spann's hit and miss, man. He can look really good at times, guys, but he can look kind of meh at times.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan says UFC should have cut Baum after the last fight. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was bad. Hey, Alex, what's going on, man? Happy New Year's to you, buddy. Hope all is well, man. If they ever make Johnny Walker and Cutelaba, it'd be nuts. Did they fight before or no?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a good one. I mean, Johnny Walker's fights are usually crazy, except for the last one, and then Cutelaba's fights are like pretty much always crazy. Guy's always nuts, so it'd be a good fight. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is another important fight here, 135. I hope they both make the weight. I mean, they both missed weight in their last fight. Obviously, Lad was her last fight was 145, but she was supposed to fight. What's her name? Yeah, I see Xiaonan she came in at 137. Xiaonan said no to the fight. Fight didn't happen. Aldana fought Cutelaba and missed weight. I think she came in at 138. I think Marcel 138 and a half or something.
Possible. I can't remember.
Yeah, so she missed weight. That's why she's not getting a title shot, guys. Because people are like, why isn't Aldana not getting a title shot? Because she missed weight. Same with Askarov. You don't get a title shot if you miss weight. You just don't. It doesn't happen. I can't really think of an instance in the UFC where they gave a fighter missed weight a title shot. That's the only guy that I could even think of. I was just writing about that fight today. That's about it. Marcel, like, is there anyone else? I don't think so. It's very difficult to get a title shot based off a weight miss. Anyways, I mean, it's an interesting fight. Glad obviously looked horrible in her last fight. And I feel like people are going to be off of her now, but it's a different fight, guys. I mean, she's a lot younger in this fight than every Aldana. She is the better grappler. So if she gets this fight to the ground, she can win this fight. She can grind her out. Fight to the standing, I think she's fucked because Aldana's got way better boxing and knockout power. But I think it's a pretty competitive fight, honestly. If she comes in and makes weight, I think this is a close fight. What do you think, Marcel?
Yeah, I hope it's a good fight, and I agree with all what you said. I mean, Lad, she fought 145 last time. People are off on her now, but if she,
I know. Everyone, look at these comments. Everyone's just saying she sucks and she's going to lose. Guys, I think she's ranked ahead of Marina. Isn't she not?
No, one under 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Yeah, there you go. So the point is, like, they're right there. It's not like this is a blowout fight, in my opinion. Anyways,
this is the winner probably fight for the title next. So they will definitely fight for a title next, I think. But probably first the Pena against Nunes rematch. Only if Nunes wins, obviously. But yeah.
I mean, they're 3 and 4 in the division, though. So to me, it makes total sense, doesn't it, Marcel? Like, they're right beside each other.
I mean, what else do you want, man?
Yeah, I think it's a fine fight, man. Honestly, I think it's okay.
Want to give Holly Holm another?
I don't think Aldana will be the underdog. By the way, I think she'll be favored. Wouldn't you guess? It'd be a close line.
I would say I think Aldana's favorite. Yeah,
me too. So do I. I think she'll be fair because I think people are kind of off on Lad. But I'll just tell you guys, just because she had one bad fight doesn't mean she sucks now. And I was all over an ordeal on that fight. It's a different matchup. It's a different fight. I mean, if you ask me who we're going to pick right now, I'd probably lean towards Aldana like you guys. But I don't know. I mean, Aldana. I really like Aldana. I really, really liked her for a long time. But she's had these fights like when she fought Pennington. Close fight, gets taken down and loses a close decision. Like that could happen here too, So I wouldn't go like all in on Aldana here, guys. Yeah, I agree with Cutelaba in that one fight. I think he can beat Ryan Spann too. I'm with you on that one. Glenn said Romero versus Rockhold. Yes, that is true. That is true. I think most of us thought he should have won that fight, the first one. I think that's why they did it again. But there was also like I think that they were saying there was like an issue with the commission that night, saying like he wasn't able to get as much time as he needed to cut the extra weight. I think that was part of it as well. So there's usually like more to the story, but in general, you guys are right. I mean, it's just if you miss weight, you usually don't get a title shot, like almost every time. Dale thinks Aldana's lads GDR fight all over again. These long strikers are a kryptonite. It's possible, man. It's very possible. She could get clipped and knocked up for sure. And Irene's a great fighter too. Glad grapple she could win the fight, or she's supposed to lock. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Tristan. I agree with you, man. I think she can win too. I don't like seeing lad fighting Aldana. Marcus likes Aldana as well. 8 Loco. Yeah, I know. I agree with this. Well, the thing that happened was she was supposed to fight in UFC 268 against Jermaine Durandamy, and the fight got canceled because something's going on with Durandamy, which we don't know about. So I don't know what's going on with that. By the way, this guy's asking about Fiziev calling RDA and Gillespie calling Ferguson. Yeah, they're all calling each other out now. I know that RDA was calling Ferguson for like February 26th, I want to say. That was the card he wants on. I mean, honestly, I think a rematch makes sense. I didn't even realize Tony was still ranked like so highly. He's number 7 and RDA is number 6. I was looking at the rankings, like just based on that alone, kind of makes sense. And then Fiziev, Gillespie, but I kind of feel like they should do it the other way. I feel like they should give those guys a shot at fighting those veterans. You know, Marcel, like I'd rather see the battle of the best 2 Raphaels in the UFC, Rafael Fiziev and Rafael Dos Anjos. Like I'd like to see that fight, and then Tony Ferguson can fight Gillespie, as we've talked about for like the last few weeks on this podcast as a possible fight. I'd rather see those fights because I'd rather see 2 new challengers. You know what I mean? Potentially, Marcel. Any thoughts?
I agree with you there, man. I think that would be perfect. But hey, the UFC does always what they want, and it doesn't always make sense what they do. So
it's true. All right, let's go to the next fight. What else we got here? Oh, here's another great fight. Listen, Marina Rodriguez is awesome, but she did not deserve the title shot over Carla Esparza because Carla beat her. It was actually 2020 now. But the point is, like during her win streak, she had lost to her. So to me, it's very hard to skip over someone you had lost to them. You know, Marcel. So again, based on the rankings, these two are right beside each other, 3 and 4, right?
Perfect.
So it makes sense. Even though she's coming off a loss and she's coming off a win, it makes sense. Both good fighters, but I think Marina Rodriguez should be a pretty big favorite in this fight, honestly. What do you think, Marcel?
Yeah, man. And by the way, man, did you saw the cut on Carla's face against Daniel?
I did see the cut. To me, it looked pretty bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, some people are saying it's not a big deal, but to me, it looked a pretty nasty cut. Although that fight, again, she's going to fight in like May or something, so it's a long time away. Anyway,
True. Yeah, I mean, good fight. We both know these girls want to strike, so I expect a striking matchup. Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with Marina. You know, she only has 1 loss on her record, and it was against Carla Esparza. She got 2 draws against Ronda Marcos and against Cynthia Calvillo. But overall, she has looked good. She looked good against Rebus, against Dern, actually phenomenal, besides 1 round. The Watterson fight was pretty dominant, in my opinion. And if you look at Xiaonan, she's good, but I don't have the same feel with her that I have with Marina Rodriguez. You know, I think Xiaonan is good, but I don't see her as a future champion, and many people will disagree with me on that. But Marina can be, I think, although we never know, you know. So we'll see what's going to happen soon. Because if you look at Jan's wins, her best wins are against Kowalkiewicz and against Gadelia, and both were were heavily. How do you say that?
On the way out.
Yeah. So
yeah, I agree with that. They were like on the downside. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Rodriguez probably wins this fight. You know. By the way, Aid Loco says he'd rather see Fiziev, Tony, and Greg Hardy. Sure. I mean, honestly, you could mix and match any of those guys. That they're all good fights. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with any of those. This fight's just weird. Yeah, I mean, Julija Stoliarenko, like, should she really even be in the UFC? To me, she's looked terrible every time I've seen her fight. The only good fight she's ever had was that one in Victor where there's all the blood and stuff. Like, to me, every other fight she's had, she's looked awful, in my opinion. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Also, Marcel Hurt, she's actually she's 0-3 in the UFC, by the way. She's not 0-2, it's 0-3. She fought Leia Letson a few years ago and lost in the UFC at the Ultimate Fighter finale.
But she only has fought once in the UFC after that, right?
Yana and Julia Avila, so it's three losses.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm saying. She's not good, you know. To be fair, I mean, the opposition's been decent, you know, to be completely fair. Avila and Konikawa was solid, but I have not been impressed. But Alexis Davis, not impressive either. Lost 4 of her last 5. You know, I will say at least those fights were competitive for the most part, though. You know, Marcel? So, to me, what are you going? Go ahead.
I fucking double checked that, man. And why didn't put it the right way, man? That annoys me.
No big deal.
It's a big deal. It should be the right way. Give me a second, and now
you also
refresh.
Yeah, Refresh it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. There, you fixed it now. There you go. So there you go. Yeah, Marcel's got. That's why I told him, because he's a stickler for that. But yeah, I think that Davis should be favored. Just based on the fact that she has so much experience, but I don't know. I mean, she's not that good either. Marcel, so I don't know. Any thoughts on this one?
I mean, Alexis Davis, I think she was fun to watch a couple of years ago. She had those crazy wars with Sarah Kaufman, if you can remember, at Strikeforce, I think.
Yep.
But right now, it's not really appealing to watch, in my opinion. It's really like a lot of wrestling, keeping position. Not really interesting for me to watch at all, to be honest. And Stoliarenko just not really good. Davis probably gets another win here, I think, but yeah, I don't know. Not a fight I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Gotta be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm with you completely. Anyways, I think that's it for your fight announcements. That's all the ones you have. So, because we did these. We already did this last week. We talked about this already. So, yeah, we were talking about those fights. So, still good though. I mean, we got some good fights coming up, guys. What's going on, everyone? We're going to talk about Glenn. We're going to talk about that in a second, Glenn. Davis, Stoliarenko, at least they can't be real exciting fighters that people have to watch. That's the good thing. You're right. It's two boring fighters. I mean, I hate to say it, because Davis had some amazing fights. Lately, she's been kind of boring, though. Marcel? The Kansas fight, I think, was decent, though, if I remember. It was like kind of like a slugfest, I believe.
True.
But I don't know. Alexis Davis doesn't move her head. She just keeps it straight up and gets hit a lot. Hey, Glenn. Not a Jake Paul fan, but it's nice to see him call it the fire pace since everyone else is scared too. All right, so we can talk about this a little bit, Marcel. Listen. I saw what Jake Paul's saying. Like I said, I think you can say what you want with Jake Paul. You can say what you want about the fights with Tyron Woodley or whoever. Like, if you don't want to watch that, it's fine. But he is raising awareness for the lack of fighter pay in MMA, and I love that. Marcel, because I've been covering the sport. It's my 11th. Actually, it's my 12th year covering MMA, because it's just turned 2022. My 12th year covering the sport, guys. 12 years. And the thing that still bothers me is the pay. It's one of the things that still bothers me. So I think the fact that this guy's coming out raising awareness is great. But again, was it going to change anything? I don't know. I just think it's bringing awareness. Basically what Jake said is, minimum wage, or whatever they want to call it, minimum show money is $12,000 right now in the UFC. It used to be less. It used to be like 4, I believe, and then it went to like 8 for a while. Then went to 10 for a long time. Now it's 12, Marcel. So I guess it's gonna be 14 next or something. But I remember when there was guys getting paid like a few thousand, like $4,000 to show and stuff. So it's come up over the years, but to me it's just not enough. Not enough, especially in comparison to the amount of revenue they're making. Like, every time we hear Dana talk, it was the best UFC's best year ever. We made so much money last year, but the revenue that went to the fighters didn't go up that much, the percentage of revenue. So there's an issue, guys. There is an issue. You can be the biggest MMA fan in the world like me and Marcel and know there's an issue with the fighter pay. These guys are not making as much money as they should be. The UFC is making a lot of money. So I think what Jake's doing and raising awareness is great. I just don't know if he's doing it the right way, just because I don't think, going and saying, hey, I want to fight Jorge Masvidal and all this stuff. Like, I don't think that's the way to do this. I think that he's making great points, but they're getting lost in that other stuff, in all these call-outs and stuff, because no one's really talking about him saying, hey, if I fight Masvidal, it's going to go from 12 to 50,000. They're talking about, hey, he wants to fight Masvidal, and he's called Dana White, like, all these names. That's just my thoughts, Marcel. I don't know what your thoughts are. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, almost everything that Dana bothers, it enjoys me, I mean, look at the way he replies, dude. I mean, if he wasn't bothered with anything, he wouldn't even reply to Jake Paul. But he replies to Jake Paul. I replies like some kid in school who wasn't happy with somebody else say something to him. And we all know what Jake Paul does, I respect him for bringing awareness, for sure. But he's an idiot as well sometimes, and you know what he does. And Dana, listen, man, if Dana is the more mature one of the two, which he's absolutely not, he should stand above it and don't be go crazy. But no, he goes crazy, and he's asking him to drug test and that kind of stuff because Paul asked to him to do test for cocaine or something, and then he said Paul should test for USADA. Bullshit, man. I mean, why would you do that when you're the how do you say that, what is he, the boss of the UFC or whatever. Doesn't make sense to me. And what Jake does is good. He raises awareness for bad fighter pay, but it's not like we all don't know that fighters get paid bad.
Yeah.
We always say it. And what really bothers me all the time is those Dana White UFC stands on Twitter and Instagram who are defending the fighter pay that is doing right now. Those idiotic, moronic piece of shit, who are keep behind the UFC like, yeah, it's right. You signed with them, so you should know, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up, dude. But, I mean, I don't know. I honestly, between those two, I don't give a fuck. If it raises fighter pay, I'm cool with it. But between those two, I don't give a fuck.
By the way, I want to take Glenn's comment here. So Glenn, I just Googled this. You're right. They did have the actual disclosed salary at that event, which was good. One guy, Cutelaba, got 10. But I'm looking after that. It's pretty much everyone. The minimum is 12, or it's looking like anyways. There might be a few guys still on the 10 and 10 deal. That seems like the bare minimum. It's such garbage. Like it really is. Like you're gonna fight at the highest level for 10 and 10. It's just awful, But again, compared to what they make a contender series, what they in the regional scene, it's a lot better. It's just not. It's not good enough for a professional athlete that is putting as much time as these guys into it. That's what we're talking about, Glenn, with that. And you're right, Glenn. Sometimes they do give out locker room bonuses. I'm sure they gave McKinney something extra. I'm sure he got something extra for knocking out Frovula. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. Well, what bothers me with UFC press conferences? When those journalists go to Dana like, Dana, thank you so much for putting up an amazing event again. Can you tell us how much the event was, how many K you got in? And we want to thank you so much. And was this your best year? Blah. Oh my God, man! Is this pre-questioned or something that they asked UFC? That UFC asked them to ask these questions? I mean, that's super annoying to me, man. And it's. I don't know who does it. I don't give a shit because if I knew who does it, maybe I wouldn't say it, But now I know I didn't know who did it. But there's many outlets who do that all the time. It's really annoying to me, Ask the questions that matter, but don't gonna put some feathers in Dana White's ass because you want some credentials. It's just stupid.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. We get these comments, guys. Oh, sorry, I missed your question here. What's favorite fighter, Day or Jake's? I mean, they're both kind of funny, both kind of dumb. They're talking about snorting cocaine and stuff. It's so stupid. So deep by KO over Caceres. Probably. I mean, I think we're both kind of favoring him a little bit, but I suck at picking Caceres fights, to be fair. Jake Paul's right when saying fighters are owed by the UFC and get benched. That's true. I agree completely about this. He did say that in the video. He's like, you get benched if you speak out or whatever. And he's right. Or he turned down fights. He's right. That part he's right about. Dana White, box promoters' own concern is how much money they can steal from a crazy iconic quote from Dana. And I know one day when Dana, I don't know when it's gonna be, guys, but there's gonna be some sort of like the government's gonna look into this and they're gonna realize how much money Dana White was making, how it was a monopoly, I think. Because remember they said it wasn't a monopoly? It totally is, guys. Come on. UFC gets like almost every dollar from the sport. Yeah, no, I know. They don't like answering questions. This is a good question here. Why can Bellator go to London but not UFC? They can. I believe they can. They're just choosing not to go.
March
but they're going to go in March though. Yeah, they've chosen not to go to this point. I should say they have an event coming up March 19th. Main event is Darren Till and Uriah Hall. I believe is that the main event.
That's the rumored main event. But we gotta be honest, man. England is like horrible.
Yeah, for COVID
right now. Yeah, man. I mean,
that will get canceled too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Paddy Pimblett's first two fights are going to end up being in the Apex in front of nobody. And he fucking doesn't deserve anything more than that, right, Marcel? Your boy Paddy. No comment. Your boy Paddy. No, kidding. But he actually will be on that card for sure. Yeah, I am, Tristan. I think Topuria is great because he can knock you out. He can also submit you. I think a guy like that is the next, evolution of sport. What's crazy actually about Topuria? So just recently, I was just looking at his record like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, oh yeah, he fought in Cage Warriors, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, shit, I've wrote about this guy in the past, like 4 years ago when he had, or 5 years ago, I looked in the odds breaker in the back end. I was writing about his opening odds for Cage Warriors in like 2017-18, so I've been actually pretty familiar with the guy. I didn't even realize it. And there was one fight where he was an underdog. I think it was his first fight in Cage Warriors. I was like, man, guys, I think this guy has really good value as an underdog. Well, it turned out to be pretty good. Now the guy's a favorite in every fight, so he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was actually at that event. It wasn't Belgian, and he was fighting for a title against Brian Boulon, a Belgian guy, and he won that fight, but he didn't make weight, so he didn't get the title. So yeah.
Ask the wrong questions and don't get a pass next time. I'm sure John Morgan's told what to ask. I mean, listen, John is obviously he gets the first question out of respect, probably because he's been doing it, longer than most of us, even including me. So I totally understand that. I'd like to think he's not getting his questions vetted, Clint, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Also, I've seen you in John's in his weigh-ins when he's doing the weigh-in, Glenn. I see you sometimes in there. I'm not that I'm in the chat. I'm just watching it. Seeing who misses weight for this card. And I hear you ask questions in there sometimes, buddy. With how long it's taking, I would imagine Chimaev's getting a top 5 guy. I mean, I hope so. Gilbert Burns said he wanted to fight him. He's top 5. All these guys, like Neil Magny calls him out every week, but doesn't get a fight book. It's really weird.
And then Dana goes to the media and says no one
wants to fight him. But you have like 5 guys on Twitter saying like, I want to fight this guy. It just doesn't make sense. I thought it's just like they're hyping him up, but it's a lie kind of. Because there's other guys talking about Potty and Cerrone for pay-per-view. I don't know. I thought it was going to be rumored for the London card. Have you heard anything about that? Or
I know somebody put it out, but as far as I know, that wasn't true at that moment. I don't know for now, but I know Chael came out with it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what this guy's saying. And I agree completely with you, buddy. You're 100% right. Like, there's been no official report from anyone. Chael obviously has connections, so there might be something to this, but a lot of the websites ran with this. Actually, I was talking to Cole about this when I saw him a couple of days ago in person. He said the same thing. He's like, it's kind of crazy how like every website started running with that, right? Because like Chael just said it on his podcast. Chael can basically say anything he wants, and someone's going to write an article on it. So I know what you guys are saying. Like, to me, the fight, I honestly think the fight makes absolutely no sense. Because if you're Cerrone, why would you take that fight ever? It's basically what they're trying to do to Nate Diaz. Basically, they're doing it to Cerrone with Chimaev. I just feel like that's a bad fight for Donald Cerrone at this point. Donald Cerrone, I mean, who's he going to be at this point in his career, guys? Like, there's very few guys he can even be competitive with at this point. Is Paddy a pay-per-view fighter? Probably. He's got a big name. He can talk shit. He can fight, it seems like. But I'm not – like, Conor McGregor, I think, needed a few fights before they even put him in, like, a pay-per-view, right? Like, I don't think he went right to pay-per-view, Conor, right? So
no.
Let me see what Conor – I think he fought, like, 5 times on like, a fight night. Let me check.
He fought Brimage.
Yep.
Holloway. I think Brandao. After the Brandao fight,
and then Poirier was his first pay-per-view. So he actually had 3 fights, including one which was the main event, as you said, Marcel with Brandao on Fight Pass before he ended up fighting on pay-per-view. And then after that, it was basically pay-per-view, except for the one fight with Seaver. So yeah, I feel like they do look at him as a pay-per-view cash cow possibly, but he's not proven that yet. So I guess we have to see more. Again, this guy almost got knocked out by Luigi Vendramini. So, as Michael Bisping told him. Hey, what's going on in the locker room? Glad to have you here, buddy. Burns and Ali don't want to really fight Kamzat. Bilal's cloud chasing. Magny's the only one that really wants to fight. I don't know if Bilal actually wants it. I agree with that. I do believe Neil Magny wants that fight. I think Neil will fight anyone. I think Bilal's just saying I'll fight him, but I don't think Bilal would actually want that fight.
Burns wants it as well.
I think Burns wants it too. I do think he wants it. There's no benefit for the number 2 guy to go on Twitter and call the guy out. There's no benefit. He's actually the guy you should be chasing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't feel like, why would a guy above you be like pretending to call you out? It doesn't make sense.
No.
So, but like a guy Bilal, I don't think Bilal really wants that fight. I think that's a horrible fight for Bilal and for Magny too, to be honest with you. Paddy and London card makes sense. Vegas pay-per-view crazy. I agree. You've seen really late booking fights. February 19th main event is announced, only 6 weeks away. Yeah, it's crazy, right? They were booking fights like really, really quick succession, and all of a sudden they stopped kind of booking at least the big fights. Do you know what? I thought we do have a main event for that, or no?
No.
Jeez.
We just got that Johnny Walker against Jamal Hill fight, but that's not the main event.
When is Thiago Santos and
week after, I think.
Oh, it's on the 26th. Is it? No, that's Makachev and Dariush.
Then it's a month after.
Yeah, maybe it will be Johnny Walker and Jamal Hill. Could that be the main event? Is it possible?
Not for now. It's 3-rounder at this moment. So, but you never know. If they can't find a main event, maybe they make that a 5-rounder.
I agree. So, okay, so March 12th is that. That's weird. I didn't realize it was so late down the calendar. Actually, there's some good fights coming up, though, guys. I'm just looking at the schedule, and again, they're going to different places: Brooklyn, Columbus, Las Vegas, Houston, Anaheim. And obviously Vegas. Hopefully they come to The Toronto. By the way, it says TBD for the venue for the Cater and Chikati card. Is it not at the Apex?
It's Vegas. It's Vegas.
Why does it say that's weird? Okay, that's strange.
Everything is Vegas except the pay-per-views, not 272, but all other pay-per-views, and the Columbus card and the London card.
And yeah, Jessica Rose Clark probably will be on the main card. I would have to guess against Edgar. I think because they like Jess. I think although her last fight was super boring, and she admitted it was just awful, but she just did what she had to do. I know Marcel's a big fan of Jessica Rose Clark.
Yeah, man, she's cool. So
yeah. So, all right. Any other news, Marcel? Like, there's got to be some other stuff. Got any rumors for us, Marcel? Some juicy rumors or something?
Honestly, nothing, man. At this moment, it's really slow. I think I haven't got a breaking since like a month ago. So it's.
Let me ask you a question. What's with Paradigm? I believe breaking their own fights, or is it Iridium? I can't remember who it is. Or
both Paradigm and Iridium breaking their own fights right now. I don't know, man. What's up with that? But I don't dislike it. I mean, I feel like I think I said it last time to you, man. It's when the UFC is announcing fights. It's like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the event is. I mean, January 15th, we still don't know how the card looks like. You know what I mean? So there's still. I know the 5 out of 6 or 5 out of 5 main card fights for that card, but it doesn't mean. I mean, Jake Collier against Chase Sherman is on the main card. I mean,
yeah,
but. Yeah, that's like the always heavyweight fight they won on the main card. But there are some fights on that one. I think I heard about 3 of the fights that are announced for that card are probably not going to happen. So, yeah.
Really? Like COVID or?
The one I can share is the Victor Henry against Reoni Barcelos.
Yeah, we know about that.
Really weird. Yeah.
That's not happening.
I haven't got confirmation about it, but Zaruk Adashev against Clayton Rodriguez is likely not going to happen, but I'm not sure about that one.
That'll be a good fight too.
And the other one I can't say yet because that's not my scoop, but it's people will be pretty bummed about that one not happening. So
shit. Well, that sucks. Guys. I'm not surprised. I mean, you're going to see fights fall apart. It's just going to happen, especially with COVID. The Water should be ahead of Caceres in the rankings. No big deal lose to Avlov. Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. The Water's underrated, man. Kevin Lee Sanchez is a fair fight. I agree. I think John McCarthy said that, right? Wasn't he the one who was going off about it? I don't think it's a fair fight either. I mean, here's the thing though. Like once you're out of the UFC and Bellator, it's hard to find, or PFL, I should say, Marcel. Like it's hard to find high quality, lightweight guys. Like who else was Kevin Lee gonna? Whoever he was gonna fight was always gonna be ranked below him. The problem with this one is Diego just got out of COVID, like a horrible case of COVID, where he was like saying he was going to die and stuff. Remember Marcel? Like he was posting those pictures and shit of the hospital bed. So it just seems kind of nuts that this guy's fighting in 3 months. I don't really believe Khabib's promotion cares about the fighter's safety at all. They were trying to book Bigfoot Silva and these guys, so they're just trying to put on a show and make a quick buck. It seriously seems like. And fight like this, probably Kevin Lee's going to finish Diego Sanchez. I mean, I don't see the fight going either way. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't like the fight, obviously, and I think many people don't.
Yeah,
What else can we say about it?
And this guy's right. I'm with you, Tristan. I thought the same thing when I heard about the 165. I remember the first thing I was like, man, is he going to fight Tumenov? Because I think that fight makes sense, right? Tumenov's really good. I've always liked Albert Tumenov. He should be in the UFC. I remember pitching an article to Cage Potato, a website I used to work for years ago, talking about the next wave of Russian guys, and I was like, this guy Tumenov's the guy we got to look out for. And I never pitched that article because I remember being so high on him. He never panned out in the UFC, but I think he'd come back. Who is Jailton Jr. fighting? He's got a fight, doesn't he? Or no? Dino Marquez? Is that the fight? Or
it's not that's Jailton Almeida, but I don't know if that's Jailton Jr. You got to be more specific.
Isn't Jailton Almeida? Isn't that the same guy or no?
I don't know.
Let me check.
Yeah, yes, that's Jailton.
Yeah, it's the same
Jr.
guy. Yeah.
Okay,
Jailton Almeida.
Yeah, he's fighting Danilo Marquez.
By the way, my fiance's Portuguese, so I always like ask her about the names and stuff for these guys. I'm like, what kind of name is Jailton? She's like, oh, it's just a made up name. His parents made up a fake name for him. It sounded cool. Jailton. It's actually kind of a cool name, to be honest with you. I just love when she says that. She's like, it's a fake name. It's so funny when she says that. But yeah, the guy's great. So I mean, he's a beast, as we know. He looked amazing in contender series too. All right, Glenn. There's some love from Marcel. Doesn't matter who breaks him. Only official Marcel tweets it. It's true. We all wait for that tweet with the the MMA DNA logo and the 2 pictures of the fighters. We all wait for that, Marcel. Otherwise, it's not a real fight. Hey Marcel, do you remember when you posted Miocic versus Kane was booked? What happened to that fight? Any insight?
Yeah, man. There were two sources who had that. I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to throw them under the bus. But yeah, it wasn't right at all. I was wrong, and well, it didn't happen, didn't pan out. So yeah, it sucks. But yeah. What else can I say?
Well, I totally understand. Yeah, it's not easy. All right. Let's see here. Sorry. Let's comment here. Yeah, that might be why too. You're right. 2-0. I think he did leave Ali, right, Marcel? So
I would say he tagged last time. He tagged the Kawa brothers in his tweet.
Yeah,
so
I heard about that. Yeah, I think they met him at Triller, the Triller event. Didn't he fight? He fought on that Triller card, right, with Mike Perry and those guys. Yeah, and they were there for it. Kevin Lee Sanchez is going to be baked with lots of funny money. Couldn't people make a big buck on this one? I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. It's a weird fight. Tomorrow's pod. Yeah, we will. That's a good idea. He's asking us to break down Usman and Kamaev. Sure. Like I said, for tomorrow's podcast, it's going to be like, I called it fantasy matchmaking. I have the article set up. So it'll be like, any fights that you guys, want, and you can talk about. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, Marcel.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Marcel? Any other news that we might have missed?
Not that I know, man. Maybe you have something.
I feel like we've got everything. Like, obviously, it's kind of a break right now, guys, from the schedule. I'm just looking to see if we missed anything. I've got everything I want to talk about for the most part. Let me ask you guys.
What about
Go ahead. You go first, and I'll ask you.
Nicholas Backstrom back.
Saw that. I used to like him. He was a fun guy to watch. He had some good fights. There was a fight where when he fought. Oh shit! Because the funny thing was there was always a Nick Backstrom in hockey when. There's actually two of them. There's two of them, I think.
Yeah.
So he fought 3 times. He beat Tom Ninamaki. I bet on him in that fight. He was a big underdog. That's what I remember. But then I bet against him against Mike, bet against him against Mike Wilkinson, and he got knocked out. It was like a big shocker. So I went in and then lost to this fucker. So I'm just kidding. I like the guy. He's a good fighter. He hasn't fought in 4.5 years. It's kind of crazy, right? But a good fighter for sure. When is Ali getting slapped? I don't know. I'm not sure. Whenever it's on site, I guess. Not for me though. I mean, I don't have an issue with him really. Is Tony versus Chandler that works for April, June? No idea. I mean, they want it. They want it. I just want to get your quick thoughts. What do you think of Ariel going after Dylan Danis? What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about like a journalist going after a fighter? What do you guys think? Give me your thoughts, Marcel.
I don't like it. I wouldn't do it, man. I mean, you saw I had problems with Paddy Pimblett this year. Did you see me going after Paddy Pimblett, calling him names? Could have done it easily, if I wanted, but I don't think that's the right thing to do. And Ariel thinks probably is he has 1 million followers or whatever, so he can do what he wants. And I mean, if he wants to do that, it's up to him, but I would never do it. So
yeah,
I don't know how you feel.
I feel like it's super unprofessional. It doesn't really matter what I think, anyways. This guy doesn't care what I think. Obviously, he's got his own life and he does what he wants. He marches to the beat of his own drum. I just think it's just funny. He thinks he's being all edgy and stuff by going after the fighters. To me, it just looks really lame. Honestly, like going after the fighters it's the last thing I would do. Marcel. Like even if I was in the wrong, I wouldn't go after them. Honestly, I would, if I was in the wrong, I'd reach out in private. Because I will say this, there's no sport without the fighters. So even a guy like Dylan Danis, who he doesn't fight, he's kind of a scrub and a laughing stock of the sport. I still wouldn't go after him, Marcel. That's just my honest thoughts, guys. I just really surprised though how much he was going after the guy. Like because to me, he's hiding behind his keyboard and doing it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's in person. Marcel. That's the thing. Like
no, the thing is, people are probably like, yeah, but Dylan Danis is dick and we don't like him. That's not what it's about. You're a journalist. You should follow certain ethics, in my opinion, and that means that you don't go after fighters, in my opinion, and definitely not getting a whole threat about it and going crazy, But I mean, it is what it is. I wouldn't support it, but and also I'm not a big Dylan Danis fan at all, but I just think it's a bad look. But
I'm with you. I mean, I think the guy, it's not really. I don't think he's a real fighter either. But I'm not going to go and tweet at him and be like, "Hey, you're a joke. You're Dylan Danis," like trying to get all my followers to go after him. It's so lame. It's really lame, guys. Honestly, I don't get it. Like
everybody was flexing with followers and saying like, "You just want to tweet about me for clout." get the fuck out, man. It's just stupid.
They were telling you that same thing with
yeah.
and you're like, how many followers like we're really gonna get from this?
Yeah, I mean, Patty said it to me as well, but
you're clout chasing, right?
I honestly got a lot of followers because of that. But yeah, I didn't even want that. That's not what's supposed to be. But
you're 30. You're 30,000 now. About that?
I think I'm 31 now. Yeah,
East monster. All right, but it's all about followers,
Yeah.
Great show. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I enjoyed doing this, you guys. I wanted to do it today. Dylan Dennis does. Tristan, 100%. But I think it should be for the fighters to be like, yo, Dylan, you're a piece of shit. I want to fight you. I don't think it should be a journalist being like, you're not really a real fighter. That's just my honest thoughts. But my honest thoughts, I think Arrow can get away because he's a huge following. Dana has a lot of haters. Yes, that's 100%. You're right with that. Dana has been involved with rants about Jake Paul, MMA Media, Big John, Luke, Ariel De La Hoya. Yeah, I know he's been going after them. Big John seems to be getting a lot of targeting lately because he has a big opinion, obviously, on this podcast with Josh Thompson. What ended up happening between Ariel and Schaub? I feel like they, I think they cashed it out. But
there was also such a lame ass thing, I mean, and everybody was like, oh, 10-8 Ariel, oh, 10-9 Chop on Twitter. I was like, this is such a lame, stupid. I don't know. I just didn't like it at all. I don't choose any sides. I don't pick Ariel's side. I don't pick Schaub's side. I don't care. Yeah. But I mean, do it on private. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the guy's got a huge following. I guess he thinks he can get away with his stuff. It sure like he's able to because I know Jake Jake Shields he was going after, and then Gilbert Burns recently, Josh Thompson, all these fighters. It's pretty nuts to me, man. Honestly, anyways, Raw Torque says, in my opinion, journalists need to be 3% smarter than the people fighters they're covering. Well, I'd hope I'm 3% smarter than these guys, but I don't know.
It depends who you're covering because you're covering a tool head or a tool back, and you're 3% smarter. You're still a tool back probably. So.
True. Patty now has less followers from Marcel in 20K. Did he get a new account or something? I can't remember.
I think he does, yeah.
Jesse on Fire. I don't know who that. I think actually I kind of think I do. James. He's like a just some YouTube videos or Instagram videos or something. I think James told me about this guy. I think he's his buddy or something like that. I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's who you're talking about. He does videos and stuff. I don't really know him though personally.
I have a very important question, Adam. Did you watch Cobra Kai season 4 yet?
No, I haven't seen season 1, 2, or 3, buddy.
Oh,
I know I'm bad. I got.
What is this? What is this?
I know. No, I actually did watch a few movies though. During the break. Some good movies, some mediocre ones. I try to watch the movies they say are going to win the Oscars and everything like that. I feel like a lot of the time they're never as good as they say. I watched this movie called The Power of the Dog yesterday. It was so boring. I didn't like it. I thought I was gonna love it. I hated it. It was such a bad movie. I don't know if you saw that one. It was shit. It was so boring.
I mean, most of these movies that got awarded, man, they got probably awarded by people who are 80 or 85 and don't know shit.
I'm obviously vetting. I'm going to Rotten Tomatoes. I'm looking at the the tomato meter. I'm looking at IMDb, seeing what the fans think. So apparently that movie was supposed to be good. I didn't like it. I did like this one called Coda though, guys. Coda was an amazing movie. I definitely recommend watching that one. It was about a deaf family. It's a great fucking movie, and I feel like it should win a lot. It's hilarious too. It should win some stuff. Let me get these comments. Hey Anthony, what's going on, man? Patty also has a crane mounted immigrant. Yeah, but didn't his account get deleted? I can't remember. Did it? Or I think you have to restart, right? I can't remember now. I know Strickland got deleted, by the way. Eagle Fang. What do you think? Yeah. Who do you think Rose and Carla? I mean, I know Carla said that she's getting married in, I believe, May. She wants to do before then, But now she said to the UFC she'll reschedule the wedding if she has to, which is kind of stupid because they know when she's getting married and they have all these available dates. I hope it's at the Brooklyn card in April, but I don't know. Any thoughts on the Ryzen upset? I didn't watch it. Did you watch it? It's plus 1,000 or something. I know.
I saw the results. I like it for Ogi Kubo, man. Ogi Kubo was on the Ultimate Fighter. He lost to Tim Elliott, I think, in the semis. Really good fighter, man. I still don't know why the UFC never gave him a chance. Hiromasa Ogi Kubo, and now he got the Grand Prix win. I was happy for him. I think he fought that Sakura in the final. So it was a pretty big upset, but cool for Ogi Kubo, man.
Good, right. All right. Anyways, I think that's it, really, guys. Oh, let me get this last comment. I apologize. Is Pena need to fight more than once in 2022? She fought twice this year, believe it or not, or last year, I should say. I'd like to see her fight twice. I'd like to see her fight twice, but I don't know. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Patty's just really popular, man. You're talking about Patty. I think that's it for today, Marcel. Honestly, I can't really think of anything else that we want to talk about. So we'll be back tomorrow, guys, at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we'll do the like I said, I want to do like a fancy matchmaking. So any fights that you want to see or something like that, we'll talk about them tomorrow. Talk your start, Marcel. Let's get out of here.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, MMADNA.nl, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at MMAOB Podcast, MMAOddsbreaker.com. It's on our YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all those places. I always put it up the next day, so it'll be there. Also, at mymmanews.com. I got some articles up there today, and then bookies.com is my main job. So I'll be back tomorrow with Marcel, 5 p.m. Eastern, and we'll do the fancy matchmaking. I got this last comment, and I don't know who these guys are. Who are these guys? Devin, who are these dudes? You know who they are?
I don't know. Boxing, maybe? I have no idea.
I'm not sure who they are. Let me Google it quickly. Devin Larat. I should know this, right? Let's see here.
Oh, arm wrestling.
Oh, arm wrestling. That's too funny. Sorry, man. My bad. That's too funny. This guy's Canadian too. I should know, right? I honestly don't know, but if you send me a video, I'll watch it. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Peace.